every once in a while, Connor, in the Who community, there
Mhm.
comes a rumor that is so bizarre and so dumb that
Mhm.
people actually believe it. You know
Yeah,
what I'm talking about?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
Yep, I do. Is it so dumb that it's true?
Well, apparently, everyone in the globe seems to think that they either seem to think that this could be true, or they're so
Yeah.
passionate about it's not true, like us right now, that we're having an
Hmm.
argument about why it's not true. Um,
Hmm.
and people are saying that the 14th Doctor is David Tennant.
Yep.
The 10th Doctor
Yep.
is the 14th Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, Connor, does that make any sense to you remotely in any way, shape, or
No.
form?
No. But it's happens every single time we get like well, every time a new Doctor's about to be casted, it's always David Tennant gets somehow brought up that he's gonna come back. And I think with Russell coming back as well, with like Julie, and we find out Phil's actually coming back. Phil Collins
Yeah,
is actually coming back,
that's
which
hot
is really
news.
cool as well. So it's like the original team. I think people now are starting to run with that idea a bit more because it's like the OG team. I heard this rumor that it's like a 3 episode 60th anniversary special that has David Tennant in it, which if that actually happens, that would just be fucking ridiculous. I'm
It
kind of
would.
there for it, but I'm kind of also like, what's the point? It kind of seems like it's cheating, just bringing him back. It would be
Yeah.
really cool to see, I think, but I just don't know if it is the right thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
if you get me.
Yeah. Can I have your attention for a moment? And here's my pitch for the 60th, right? Because I think, and the only
Ready
reason
for
I'm
show,
pitching
huh?
this for the 60th is because I feel like it's the last chance we have to do it, right? And look, you can say, but Aidan, when you're inevitably showrunner one day in the distant future, when it finally happens, um, people are,
Yeah.
they're gonna know you're gonna do this. Well, I can't because this is the one year where we can do something like this, I think. Um, and that is to do, and because this kind of thing is so big right now, I feel like it makes sense to do something like this. So my pitch is, sure, we have like a big, 5-part, 6-part, like Flux like series or something in like August, September 2023, right? It's pretty
Hmm.
cool. Maybe Omega's the big threat or something, right? And it leads up to a cliffhanger where like Omega, he's ruling the universe, or rather, the multiverse. So my big pitch is that the grand finale of the 60th is a multiverse where other like a multiverse scrap where other versions of the Doctor are present in this scrap. Now, these other versions of the Doctor include the 7th Doctor that did not get shot in the TV movie, and he lived on to an old age, a version of the 5th Doctor where he's lived on to an old age, a version of the 6th Doctor where he's lived on to an old age. You can bring back all these other characters, all these old versions of the Doctor without having to do some bullshit explanation as to why they look old. We can
Right.
have a bearded 10th Doctor that could possibly be the 10th Doctor from the parallel universe with Rose, that they can come back into it.
Or the
You know,
Time of Victorious
yeah, you
Doctor
can
for
do
the
Time
10th
Lord
Doctor.
Victorious shit. I feel like
Mm.
this is the time for Doctor Who to do like a big multiversal event.
Interesting. Wow.
And it would just be really cool because I think it's the last time we're going to be able to see them old faces, because some of them faces
Yeah.
are sadly getting a little bit old. And I don't think we'd ever see Tom Baker come back in a big way in the 60th itself. I feel like he's sort of got past the point now where maybe with the exception of a small cameo, he's probably a little bit too old to dedicate himself to like a week or two shooting on set. But I feel
Right.
like, Colin, Sylvester, Paul, Peter, they're getting on a bit, but I still feel like there's a way that we can incorporate them, and in 10 years time, they're going to be sort of at that point of being too old to come back properly, I think. So that's
I
my
hope
2
so.
cents.
It's a really cool idea, actually. And I think they're going to do something similar to that. I think not using them would be a mistake because I think you're right. I think if it doesn't happen in this 60th, or sorry, this anniversary, I don't think it will happen again.
Mm.
And I think David's even been on the record saying that he'd come back one more time, which I think's fitting. I would see it happening one more time, and then that would be it. To see like Matt and Peter one more time would be awesome as well. But that's a really good idea, and I think that works because that would definitely also, I think, help with the whole Jodie situation, because Jodie's gonna go, and then maybe make a short little cameo, maybe like Matt Smith in Deep Breath. I don't know. It has been done before where the Doctor has shown up in a new First Doctor's episode. So yeah, but that's a really interesting idea if they were playing versions of themselves, like different universe versions of themselves. Like it would make sense, and they have to do something to deal with like someone like Jodie coming back, or even like Joe Martin's Doctor, to bring back those characters from Chibnall Zero, which was into the Childless Children storyline. It's going to be difficult, and I think they've got a great team behind it. They've got something cooking. But you're right, there's so many rumors out there at the moment. There's so much stuff, and you can't believe half of what you read, I think, these days. But sometimes it happens to be true, and sometimes it doesn't. Like it's a weird time to be in. We're living in the age of spoilers. So yeah,
you sent through a rumor that was kind of like it's not like What If, but I guess it follows a similar format to What If, where someone had said there's a rumor going around that there's like an episodic series, like a 10-part episodic series, and each episode is a single episode that focuses around where other characters in the Doctor Who universe, say River Song or Martha Jones, companions who have left the Doctor, seeing what they're doing and making a small adventure out of that. I feel like that would be a cool thing to do in the 60th as well. I'd be on board with that. I just hope that I think the 50th did a good job for its time, but I think the 60th, needs to like almost step it up a gear and bring in more Doctors than we've had before, and things like that. I think that would be pretty sweet. I also read on Twitter today that apparently the most on-screen Doctors played by the original actors to play the Doctor that have been in one scene together is only 3. And that's in the 5 Doctors. With Pertwee, Peter, and Patrick Troughton. Because all of the 3 Doctors
passed away, and then Baker didn't want to show up.
Yeah, exactly. And in the 3 Doctors, William Hartnell wasn't even there for shooting. They shot his stuff separately. And then obviously Dave the Doctor was just like pretty much just David, David, Matt, and John, and all the other stuff. You know, it's all archive material and things. It doesn't really doesn't really count. But yeah. Oh, goodness. Anyways,
it's exciting. I reckon we'll get an announcement soon. We must. I think there's rumors it would be people were saying January, now they're saying Feb. I think it would be good to know before Easter, which I think we will. It would be good to know before Jodie's last 2. I'm just scratching my head though. I don't know who. I've heard rumors that Russell's going to pick an unknown actor. There's rumors he's going to pick someone he's worked with before. So I don't know. You can't really trust any of this shit. You really can't. Like, you don't know if they're telling porkies or not. Yeah. But part of me thinks it would be really cool if he picked an unknown actor, because like Matt Smith was pretty unknown. I know David and Chris had both done work before. I think Russell met David on, was it Casanova? I think that was the show they worked on together.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked how like Matt was pretty much like a brand new like actor. So if they did something like that again, I'm kind of for it. Either way, I reckon whoever he picks, I've got trust in, and it'll be interesting. I think I saw such a funny picture. Someone photoshopped David Tennant's head on Jodie Whittaker's body in her costume, and I'm like, imagine if that happened. That would be whack.
That is weird.
Like that's crazy. Weird. It's just like, man, like whatever they're gonna do, I've got faith in the team. It's great to see Bill and Julie back, and of course Russell. So I heard rumors Murray's back as well. Again, I don't know if I can believe this shit, but hey, I'm excited it's getting exciting. It really is. Just to think next year would be the year. It's pretty bonkers. I'm all for it though.
Like this year, of course, we have 2 specials this year, which is fun enough as it is. But also this is the year where a lot of those big announcements are going to be made about the future of the show. So that's Don't
Oh
even at me,
god,
bro. That shit's so exciting.
don't even. That is exciting.
I do hope we get the big ones, like who the 14th Doctor is going to be, like you said, before the Easter special. I think it would be a bit upsetting to Jodie's run to have all that news coming out between the Easter special and the Centenary special. And I think, have I got this right? The plan is they're going to start filming Series 14 in that gap between those episodes. So the announcement will have to be before then.
Of course, set leaks, all sorts.
Yeah.
Like, living the day, I just spoilers, yeah.
So hopefully they, if I'd hope it's either before the Easter special, but not in like the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the Easter special, but like maybe in the next month, that'll be good, or in like the month or so after the Easter special, and then after that, that we need to focus everything on the Centenary special and Jodie's final send off. I think it'll be wrong to do all them announcements in that gap there.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
but
it's gonna be an interesting one. Who knows?
Hopefully they can save like a lot of the big surprises for the 60th for the episode. And if there is cast coming back in a big way, I'd hope that stuff can maybe wait till after the Centenary special has aired.
Yeah, I think spin-offs is pretty much confirmed without it being confirmed, because Russell was very public about the idea of him wanting to do it. So I think that is going to happen. I even saw this rumor, which I don't think would be true, because I feel like you can't really do this about Doctor being involved. But I heard a rumor that they might do like a bit of a Timeless Children series.
Okay.
I don't think that's true, but that did sound pretty cool. And I think that'd be a nice way to keep what Chibnall did in his era alive. And I guess they could kind of do it like set on Gallifrey or something. I don't know. But
yeah, almost like following the Division and Joe Martin's Doctor or something would be cool.
Imagine if they kept Chris on for a spin-off. That would be pretty cool. I'd be keen for that.
Yeah. I'd like to see what he could do focused on like an 8-part episode about the Timeless Child or something. So an 8-part series.
Like no Doctor in it, just like maybe like rural Gallifrey. And like he could maybe give him more time to explore that storyline, which I'm sure would help you understand it more in his era. Yeah. And they keep him on, because Russell and Chris obviously work really closely with Torchwood, and he knows that he can run a successful spin-off. Like Torchwood's pretty much everyone's favorite spin-off for Doctor Who. I know there's not that many, but you know, so I wouldn't see that being an issue. Plus, he has left pretty early in his tenure as a showrunner. Maybe the BBC said to him, "Hey, look, we'll bring Russell in to be the head writer, but what if you do this Timeless Children spin-off show and you can head show on it?"
That could be cool. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Because we've not had a Chibnall era spin-off. So maybe having the spin-off happen after a time on the show would be an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, I would like to see him do that. I still think he got treated really badly. I know this is coming from a guy who didn't like his era very much, but I still think he was treated pretty awfully. So I would like to see him continue writing in some. That's the thing. I don't mind him being. I don't think he should have been head showrunner. But I'm happy as him to do a little spin-off show. So if he can come back and do like, imagine if it's just called like the Timeless Children or something.
Yeah.
Or the Timeless Child, and it just shows that storyline. I reckon that'd be sick. So maybe that's what we're gonna do. I don't know.
Who knows? Or even like the BBC. Doctor Who Timeless or something. I don't know.
Doctor Who question mark?
Yeah, just Doctor Who.
With just the question mark though. It's 2 different shows. Doctor Who and Doctor Who question mark.
Anyways,
I'm excited,
we always go on talking about the 60th. It's so fun to speculate about.
It is. Part of the fun is speculating, I feel like.
Totally. And then it kind of always makes your first viewing of the episode kind of shit. But then,
yes, that's what happened with the 50th.
Yeah. But then you go to
which we're so close to, actually.
What was that?
We're so close to reviewing it as well. I'm so interested to rewatch it.
The 50th, yeah, the 50th,
man. Yeah.
Bloody close. That'll be our 100th episode of the podcast. Speaking of this podcast, a little bit of housekeeping to start off the episode. You may hear Connor's microphone is a little bit echoey at the moment because Connor is currently in an empty room recording. Yippee yay! Sorry for that. I'll see what I can do with it in post. But
very echoey.
It'll still be there.
Echoey. Yeah, I just did my whole room up, so it got painted on Saturday. So I had to take everything out. I'm ripping up my carpet tomorrow. I'm putting down flooring tomorrow. So I'm actually in the room I always record in, except my desk is gone now. I took my desk out, so my mic is currently clamped to my bedpost, which has no bed on it. So I've been staying in the spare room. So yeah, it's pretty. I'm gonna take a picture of the setup and put it on my Instagram story. It's a pretty cool setup. I got literally everything plugged in, set up. My phone's here. I got the mic here. It's a pretty cool setup. Yeah, you're right. It does sound very echoey. So apologies for that in advance.
Love it. Also, if you want to get involved in the conversation, you want to hear what we're doing, you want to give reviews on the episodes that we're reviewing, and we'll talk about them on the show. Where can they find us, Connor?
50 Doctor.
That's at 50 Doctor on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find us on YouTube at the 50% Doctor Who podcast, where you can see the video of this. And Connor, what else can they find?
Yeah, by the time this comes out, there will be a video out called, I think I'm kind of working on the title, but I think it's Why Does Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Get So Much Hate, or something along those lines. So I want to get that video out before the new Doctor gets announced, and so I can do a video on the new Doctor. And I've also got another video planned. But yeah, I'm excited. I should be releasing a video on that channel maybe every couple of weeks or so. I think we discussed maybe taking it in turns a little bit, but yeah, I'm just getting my head around. I wanted to announce it first, and obviously the episode I announced it in came out today when we're filming. So I said in that video, the video would be out on like Wednesday or Thursday, so I couldn't release it earlier because I wanted to give it a little bit of press first. So I've been sitting on it for a while, but it should be out. Well, it will be out on either Wednesday or Thursday. We haven't really figured it out yet, but yeah, new content coming to that channel.
That's the Wednesday or Thursday just gone. What you can expect this coming Wednesday, Thursday, probably Thursday, I think, is I filmed a video for it, which is what crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. I shot it, and I don't know. I did it. Yeah, I've got to see how it comes together in the cut.
Okay,
but that is me doing a tier list ranking all the companions in Doctor Who. So
I love it.
Yeah, if that tickles
very
your
sexy.
fancy, you want to know what I think of everyone's favorite companions, Nardole, and
yes.
you can find those sort of videos, them like 10, 15-minute videos over on the YouTube channel, the 50% Doctor Who podcast. But every Monday, you do get a podcast episode. As always, that's always going to be our main focus. And those extra videos are just going to be extra bits of videos on the side when we have a little bit of time to do so. So speaking of...
Which is not often.
Which is never. This week on the podcast, we're talking about everyone's favorite Cyberman story, Nightmare in Silver. Yeah, baby. We love it. We love to hate it. It's Nightmare in Silver, baby.
50% podcast.
Nightmare in Silver is the 12th and penultimate episode of the 7th series of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who. It was first broadcast on BBC One on the 11th of May 2013. It was written by Neil Gaiman and directed by Stefan Wolfenden. More on them in a moment. In the episode, the alien time traveler, the Doctor Matt Smith, and the nanny Clara Oswald, Jenna Louise Coleman, bring Clara's look, she brings on some fucking kids with her into the episode, all right? That's all we got to say.
Artie and Angie.
They bring them to a theme park where an army of cyborgs called Cybermen reawaken centuries after their defeat in a war. The Cybermen discover the Doctor and transform him into a cyber planner, which creates a split personality fighting for control of the Doctor's body with a game of chess. So, like I said, written by Neil Gaiman, who in the past wrote the fan favorite episode, The Doctor's Wife, which we both quite a lot. Isn't that right, Connor?
Yeah, from last season. Yep.
And the guy has written a whole bunch of books. You also may know him for writing Good Omens, everyone's favorite TV show. I say that like you've seen it, but
I haven't.
Yeah, Good Omens is great. He wrote the book for that, the TV series, and he's writing the season.
Douglas McKinnon, baby.
Douglas McKinnon directed it. That's right. But yeah, Neil Gaiman, he's like a kind of an auteur in a way. Like he has Neil Gaiman stuff feels like Neil Gaiman stuff, and that's very present in this episode. And we'll talk about that shortly. The episode is directed by Stephen Wolfden, who has directed on Doctor Who once before. well, not before this actually. Sorry, I amended that. So he directs obviously this episode, Nightmare in Silver, but he also directs the minisode Clarence and the Whispermen. I believe that's the prequel to the Name of the Doctor.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I do believe. But that's it. That's all he does for Doctor Who. Outside of that, nothing's really jumping out for me. He did the Misty Show, Dream Team, Echo Beach, Trinity, Strike Back, DCI Banks. Doctor Who's definitely the most like profound thing I think to come out of his work. So yeah, interesting. Not much to say on Stefan Wolfenden.
Right.
Wolfenden. Yeah. Connor, when you were a young man back in 2013, a young handsome rooster, fresh out on the
Thank
town.
Yeah. Accurate.
What did you think going into this episode, and what were your immediate reaction? And what was your immediate reaction after watching the episode?
So I'm not sure if I mentioned this when I rewatched and reviewed Doctor's Wife for the show, but I was never a fan of Doctor's Wife when I first watched it. And I never really got the buzz around it. So I wasn't really excited to see Neil Gaiman come back, which is, by the way, ridiculous because on rewatch of Doctor's Wife, I absolutely loved it. I think I gave it a 9.5 or a 9, something like that. So it was very, very close to a 10 for me. But I was really keen to see a Cyberman episode, and I thought, I think I'm going to really enjoy this one. I actually do remember, not that I condone piracy at all, but I do remember we had to wait for the episode to come out this doesn't happen anymore, but back in the day, you had to wait for the episode to air on ABC One in Australia at 7:30. And someone uploaded the actual episode to YouTube. And I remember I said to you, I texted you, I was like, hey, someone uploaded it to YouTube. And you're like, Connor, we should just wait. Make sure you wait so we can watch it at the same time.
Be a good human being.
Yeah. I didn't wait. I watched it and I said to you that I didn't. So I had to pretend that I watched it along with you. It was in separate houses, but you're like, just wait. And I was like, okay. But I think I went, okay, I'll watch the first 5 minutes. And then I continued to watch it.
You then continued to watch another 40 minutes after that.
Yes, I continued to watch the remaining 40 minutes. And I remember thinking, I liked it more than Doctor's Wife, which is ridiculous saying that now. But I remember thinking, and I still think to this day, I thought, this is the first time in a while I felt like it's such an awesome concept. The idea of like a planet that's a theme park is such a cool idea. It's such a great idea. And the idea of the Cybermen just kind of being there. I love the idea of this army that's been thrown down. It's like being punished. And I feel like the whole new Cyberman design, I know it's quite controversial to say this, but I actually really like it. I always liked the new design. And I thought their new abilities was really cool. So I feel like all that stuff was really cool. And I feel like the execution was really bad. But I've heard, I didn't look, by the way, because I'm sure you got some cool stuff behind the scenes, but I heard there was a lot of drama behind the scenes. And it was never really confirmed who, but I think it was rumored it was Stephen. I don't think it was Stephen, because I think Neil Gaiman came out and said it wasn't Stephen, but I heard there was a lot of drama behind the scenes with the script. And I think you can definitely tell, because it's almost like they weren't written by the same person when you see how complex and beautiful Doctor's Wife is compared to this, which I think is just a bit of a fun, run-of-the-mill kind of standard episode in a way. That was a long answer to your question, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just to say, we both gave The Doctor's Wife a 9.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
Dan Aid, our good friend, was also on the show for that episode, and he also gave it a 9. So
yeah,
there you go. Me, back in 2013, on the old Nightmare and Silver train, I think I was kind of keen going into it. I was keen for new Cybermen and stuff like that. So that was cool. But I remember really not liking it for a long time. I hated it, even to the point about 2 years ago, I think was the last time I watched this episode. I just threw it on in a whim, and I really didn't like it. I was like, this is shit. What the fuck were they thinking? So that was interesting. And frankly, all week I've been dreading watching it, and I watched it this morning. And part of why I was dreading it is because I've been watching season 17, the classic series Blu-ray that has just come out, which is awesome. People say it's really bad. I've watched the first 3 stories, and gotta say I'm fucking having a good time with it. Like, it's definitely camp as fuck, but yeah, I'm having a good time with it. Anyways, that's what I've been watching, like 1 or 2 of those every morning when I get up at like 5:30. I was to have my breakfast and shit. And today's one was going to have to be Nightmare in Silver because I was like, I do have to watch it before the show. And this morning I was just like, fuck, I just don't want to do it. I was like shaking as I was putting the Blu-ray in. I was like, I don't. No. I was like, we should do the meme of Professor Dumbledore in the Half-Blood Prince, like being like, no, stop, and then Connor feeding me the Blu-ray, being like, you need to watch it for the show.
Oh god,
that's how I felt this morning, watching it.
Right.
But I got to say, I think because I went into it with such expectations, I actually had a good time with it, and it's still very shit in a lot of ways. A lot of bad stuff in there, but I think there's it is a lot of fun, and maybe gets a little bit gets too much hate. Like, it doesn't need as much hate as it gets, you know.
I think it's because Gaiman. I think that people had such high expectations, especially after Doctor's Wife.
Sure.
I think a lot of people were like, "Well, this is going to be fantastic." But yeah, I remember the general like reaction to the episode was pretty negative, and a lot of people were upset. And especially it being so, this is technically, I was thinking this when I was watching, this is technically the last standard episode of Matt's era.
Yeah, I thought that.
The rest of them are all specials. Yeah. So, but I think it had a chance to be quite a dramatic episode. But part of me feels like, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like the whole Angie and Army thing, maybe it was Neil Gaiman's idea, but I feel like it kind of felt like he didn't really know what to do with them. And I think maybe he was told to put them in there because they kind of just like, they're there and then they just get fucking taken over by a Cyberman and they kind of stand there for the rest of the episode and don't do anything.
A lot of Gaiman stuff does involve kids, though. It is what I mean by that. There is a lot of stuff in this episode that does feel very Neil Gaiman. Like, after watching Good Omens about a year or so ago, I really got a good grasp, and I was like, no, I know exactly the type of writer that Neil Gaiman is. But then also Stephen Moffat quite often has kids, and at least in his Doctor Who, he has a lot of kids and stuff in it. So I don't know whether that comes from Moffat or if it comes from Gaiman or just both of them working together. I don't know. But yeah, they definitely are written really annoying. I think performances, the guy that plays Artie, I think he's having a good time and he is trying. It's not the greatest, but I think Angie is just like everything about her character for me kind of falls flat a little bit, unfortunately. But then, about 20 minutes in, they just shove them off to the side and have nothing to do for the rest of the episode.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. That's
bit of a shame.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, I think it's a cool concept. The idea that he like was like, fuck it, I got to take these kids somewhere, and takes them to this theme park planet, which again I think is an awesome idea. And I just wish you got to see more of it. You really don't get to see more of it. Like you're in a collector's room, which has really got nothing to do with like a theme park, and then they go to like an army base that they set up, and then it goes to just the castle, and that's it. And like you get to see these really bad CGI shots of a few roller coasters and stuff. And like it would have been really cool if they like, I don't know, it's really cliche, but like if they ran through like a fun house and there was like a Cyberman stalking them, like that could have been like a cool idea. I know
it would have been fun,
but you know,
if they'd done like a Scooby-Doo montage, which was like a little bit silly, but it's like Clara and the other people like running through a fun house with Cybermen coming at them, and they like go into a maze of mirrors. But then like other shit, like I don't know, this is dumb. This would not fit the tone of this part of the episode at all. But they're on a roller coaster and they turn around. There's a roller coaster behind them.
Literally, like, what if they just jumped on a roller coaster? Like, I know, budget-wise, it would have been fucking bad, but like, you know, like I just feel like they could have done something fun. Except they, like, for example, when the captain's saying to Clara, like, where should we set up? And she says all these locations that sound really cool, and she's like, or the castle, and Clara's like, we'll go to the castle. I'm like, fuck it hell. That's the most boring one you could pick. But all the other ones she mentioned sound hell fun. Like, oh, we can go to this one or this one. They pick the boringest one.
I feel like Neil Gaiman went to Moffat and was like, right, so
yeah,
let's have a look. We can go to the Zoomy Zoomy roller coaster, or we can go to Flippity Flip pirate ship. And then the last one, he was like, oh, there's the cheaper option, the castle. And then Moffat goes, the castle. Save that money for the 50th. We want John Hurt.
Hey, probably. And I reckon I think something like that probably did happen. Because for an episode that sounded like it needed quite a big budget, it feels quite cheap. It feels very like, the locations are pretty boring standard, and you're supposed to be doing a theme park world, but it doesn't feel like you're on a theme park world at all. Again, you get some shitty CGI shots, and it just took me out of the episode about how bad it looked. And that was upsetting. Oh, the whole like moon base thing was kind of fun, but that's it. Like you didn't go past any like attractions, or didn't go past any rides that like broken down. Nothing like that. It didn't really give the atmosphere that you were at a theme park world, and that's was one of the biggest disappointments for me when I first watched it and watched it today.
I've really found, I think I've kind of diagnosed my problem with this season. So one thing is that I think they're going through a stage where instead of doing like 1 or 2 episodes a season where they promise crazy concepts and commit to them, they're doing that with every episode and not fully having enough money and having enough like of a concept there to properly commit to them. They're just like throwing out pitches. I was talking to my mate today, and I was telling him how much I hated going to the center of the TARDIS when we rewatched it. And he was like, dude, that episode, they thought of the title before they thought of the episode, you know? That's like kind of how it sounds. It was like, how cool would that be? Yeah, let's do that. And then I was sort of saying, I feel like the last few weeks, I've kind of been struggling with like watching the episodes because I've really been like not wanting to watch them and having to force myself to watch them, which isn't how you want to watch anything because you are going into it in like a pessimistic, negative mindset. But I'm like, why? I sat down on like Monday. It is Monday today. I don't know, on the weekend or something. I sat down and was like, why am I really struggling with this at the moment? Like, what is it that's not working for me this season? And then I was like, I think it's the fact that my other thing was that Series 7 in the past for me, I've always felt like I've enjoyed because Series 7 is an episode that you can just throw on any episode and they're all really, well, for the most part, most of them are really fun and you can put on whatever one you want. And I was like, so I've always enjoyed doing that with it in the past, but watching it as one series from start to finish isn't working for me. And I think that comes down to the fact that all the episodes are trying to do the same thing in terms of being a big blockbuster episode. They're not really experimenting with things. And that has its pros and its cons. Like they all feel structured the same way. They all pretty much hit the same tone. Some of them slightly darker than others, but they're all like fun, fast-paced action adventures. The whole series is. And it means they're great to just put one on. But if you're watching, well, including The Snowman and Doctor the Wit of the Wardrobe, this season is 15 episodes long. And doing that, rinse and repeat for 15 episodes is like, it gets really tiresome. And we've not been allowed, Angels Take Manhattan was maybe an exception. But because they're just going for action adventures, you're not getting like any deep emotional stories sprinkled throughout that. There's no what's the Van Gogh one called? Why can't I remember that?
Vincent the Doctor.
Vincent and the Doctor. There's no Vincent and the Doctor. There's no Midnight. Who's great when it has these big action episodes, but scattered throughout, having like an emotional one or an episode that challenges something. An episode like Midnight, which challenges the conventions that we know of Doctor Who. It sits in a small room and that's it. But this episode, every episode just trying to do something big and doing that back to back, it just ruins the enjoyment out of those episodes, I think. Sorry, that was a big tangent there. But
no, it's right, though, because I've had the exact same thing. I've had the exact same thing as you the last couple of weeks. I'm watching it on the day that we're reviewing it. I used to watch episodes like a week before sometimes.
Same, yeah.
Because I was just so excited to watch. And I think, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited to watch the next 3. And I think Al will get very gassed to rewatch those, even though there's going to be a little gap in between when we review some classic episodes. But Yeah, you're totally right. There was just so many things throughout season 7 which I really loved, and I think when we got to like Bells of St. John or like Rings of Ackerton, I think yeah, that was like the break we kind of took around Christmas. And I remember I was just randomly at the cinema one day, and I was like walking to the toilets at the cinema. I'm like, damn, you know what? Aidan's right. Season 7 does slap. It's great. And then I feel like from Cold War onwards, I was sort of starting to lose hope.
Yeah,
Every single
same.
time I watch an episode, you start to lose a little bit more. Um, I just feel like I really like Jenna and Matt's chemistry together, but I don't know if I feel like Jenna's been I feel like her character's been around for ages, and not really in a good way. I feel like I've known her for ages. I feel like it's dragged on. Her whole storyline's dragged on. I'm so glad it's wrapping up next episode. Like, I don't know if I fully believe that some just babysitter would like in this episode. I think that really bugged me was when Matt full on just tells the general, "No, I'm taking away your rank and I'm giving it to Clara."
Yeah, I picked up on
What
that.
on God's
I was like,
green earth?
what?
What the fuck is that? Why would you give it to Clara? Like, I feel like they were trying to give her like a big moment, but I'm like, what was she done really to earn this? Like, what? I don't see her in that light. It's like, why couldn't you just keep it like there was already a general there, and she just randomly just dies, like she gets shot or something. I can't even fucking remember. I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that? Like, why couldn't you have it could be interesting to have them have like a conflict with like Clara was stuck with the general, and they're like button heads on what to do. But no, like it kind of just felt like, oh, we'll just give Clara this job to do because she's here and she's Clara and she's the reason why they're gonna live, because she's smart and she's clever and the doctor's gonna be away. And it's like, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe this character to be doing stuff like that. So, and that's what makes these episodes drag a bit for me. I think it's like not really believing these characters would be doing that kind of thing. I'm not believing their motivation. And to be honest with you, Clara's storyline, when it was first airing, the mystery was really fun. But now I'm knowing what it is and knowing how it wraps up, it just feels dumb. And I'm sick of them talking about it. It gets mentioned every episode. And it's like, fucking hell.
You know what?
I'm so glad it's wrapping up
would
soon.
fix Series 7 is so the first 5 episodes, right? They all work fine because it's like they got a bit of variety in the episodes, different locations, and 5 episodes in, you get a big emotional climax, right? I think they all work fine as like a little 5-part thing. Then where the trouble is in the back 8, where the plot doesn't really go anywhere from Bells of St. John until you get to Name of the Doctor, right? And so what it needs, I get that Moffat wanted them, and it rightfully so, it needed them to go on a bunch of separate adventures. You know, you want to get to the 50th and stuff with the Doctor and his companion being pretty well traveled together, right? Like that's kind of what you want at that point. You don't want to still be establishing that. And so I totally get why it's just eight separate stories. But what I think maybe could have been done is we have the first 3, because like we said, both of us really liked the first 3. But after Cold War, instead of like Hyde, Journey, and Crimson, what if they did a kind of slightly episodic but connected 3-parter in the same vein as the Monk trilogy in Series 10, which I don't think is that great, but just something where you have cliffhangers and you have a bit more of a new ongoing mystery out of nowhere to keep the story going, but they are still 3 separate adventures that you can kind of watch independently of each other. And it just gives, I think, a little bit more momentum through the series, just connecting them a little bit more rather than just being stop, start. And it would, I think, just fix the stop-start pacing of this series. That's the problem. The pacing of the series is just off.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's the pacing. That's what I mean by Clara's only been, and again, I really like Clara as a companion, but she's only been here for 7 episodes. And I feel like she's been here for ages, but not in a good way, because you're right. It is so stop, start. Yeah. I feel like season 7's more fun watching maybe the odd episode here and there if you're just randomly putting on an episode like you were saying. But coherently, it's a whole thing. Yeah, I think part 1 works really well. But I don't know if part 2 works as well as they were planning it to. It's an ambitious idea to do it, and I respect that, but still, it's just not really.
I think it also doesn't help that because we've done Flux and Eve of the Daleks and everything. It was on the 20th of September that we started Asylum of the Daleks, and we've done weekly episodes since then. And Like, you know, it's been a long road to get to the finale. Just so having like 7 episodes come out in that time that we've reviewed, and we've not reviewed the main series for, has kind of like probably slightly hindered our pacing of it, which is a shame. But yeah, so that's my little thoughts there.
Doctor's Wife feels like fucking ages ago that we reviewed it, and that was only last season. That's Gaiman's last episode that he did.
Yeah, that was in.
That feels like
that was 6 months ago. That was in July last year.
Fuck. That's what I mean. Like, that just was so long ago. You're right. That wouldn't have helped.
Remember, like,
it is a longer season, so it will also obviously be longer. So
remember when we were like 3 or 4 months into the show, and you were getting worried about how quickly we were going through episodes, and we might run out of episodes sometime soon.
I still do worry about that. The only thing that the only thing that really does help me is I feel like with Russell coming back, there will be, I think, a lot of juicy content coming out all the time.
Yeah.
So, and there's always the old spin-offs as well. So I feel like there'll be some juicy content coming. So that's good at least. But yeah, I was a bit worried in the past. Yeah.
Anyways, we'll dive into the plot shortly. What do you say, Connor? I don't know if you remember to do this, but we got a lovely question from a listener, a friend of the show over on Twitter, which I'm going to get it right now, and we should spend like 5 minutes or so, I think, answering this lovely question.
Sure.
All right. So the question, what? Blah, 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 blah. The question was from my good friend Mike Connor. He said, "Okay, so oh wait, no, this is his review. Hold on, don't worry." But he said, "I have a question for you guys. Thinking only about New Who, if you had the power to shorten each season to 10 episodes per season, which eps would you cut?" So, you know, in the same vein as series 11 and 12 have, where they've been 10 episode series, and they've kind of trimmed a bit of the fat in a way, I think. Still a bit in there, but yeah, shorter series, you know, you obviously get things a bit more streamlined. So basically, Connor and I, what we've done is made our list of the episodes that we would take out of the first 10 series of Who, right? Did you do that, Connor?
No, but I got them in my head.
Okay, cool. All right.
I totally forgot to do this, but I can do it. I know the episodes in each season. I can do it.
Cool. Some of these I've put a lot of thought into for some reason, and then some of them I just like throw them out. Maybe we'll go a season at a time. All right.
Yeah. So season 1's 12 episodes. You have to pick 2.
Series 1 is 13 episodes. So you pick 3.
13. Okay. All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So because the episode itself is shit, I would get rid of the long game, but I would take the important plot elements from the episode and bring them forward and I basically do the long game. Fuck, I don't know how to describe this. I would combine the long game and the end of the world together. You know, obviously that would mean massive plot adjustments. They can't be watching the world blowing up because the world has to be there for the finale. They're both just like on satellite space stations hovering just above Earth. And, you know, taking the parts of the long game that impact the finale and combining that with like the plot of the end of the world with like, you know, a scandal happening on the space station stuff. I think combining that into one story, I think would be interesting, and you get rid of the shitness of the long game. I would get rid of the Unquiet Dead, which I think is a shame because it is the first historical, but it is also just kind of weak. So it's a shame to get rid of it, but it's series 1 is so good that it's hard to get rid of the weaker ones. And then I would say, here's the other thing, making Aliens of London World War III a single episode, but making a bit more of the storyline from that carry over into Boomtown.
Okay.
That's my little thoughts.
Yeah, I pretty much have the exact same. I would say I'd get rid of Unquiet Dead, Long Game, and Boomtown. Well, they're definitely my least favorite episodes of season 1. I do think you're right. They'll have important elements, and season 1 as a whole was actually a really good season. Definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, you're right. Probably the one I feel most sorry about in that list would be Unquiet Dead, because again, you're right. First historical, first Mark script. I also don't think it's that bad. I also think it's got a really cool spooky element to it as well, which scared the hell out of me as a kid. But yeah, I would pick those 3.
Cool. I didn't want to get rid of Boomtown because I like how it goes into the morality of the Doctor a bit. It's a very different episode. It's so fun in that first act as well. It's so silly.
They're all pretty good, except for Long Game. That's pretty shit.
Yeah, literally. All right, series 2. I would get rid of New Earth because I don't like that episode. But you don't want to start the series on Tooth and Claw. So what I would do is bring School Reunion make it episode 1, because that's like an exciting, lighthearted, fun, action-packed adventure. Everything you want from a series opener. And then maybe Mickey comes on in that. He's in there for Tooth and Claw. He's in there for Girl in the Fireplace, and then leaves in the Cyberman 2-parter again. I'll then get rid of the Idiot's Lantern because it's not that great, and Fear Her because it's shit. What would surprise you is that I've kept in Love and Monsters because I think it's a good breath of fresh air in that time of the season, even though I don't really like the episode that much. It's a nice palate cleanser, but also it's a big episode for Jackie, so I think that's good to have.
It is. Yeah, wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to get rid of New Earth, Tooth and Claw, and Fear Her.
Tooth and Claw? You fucking monster.
I'm sorry. How can I not? I genuinely love all the other episodes. I can't get rid of anything else that's not that, and I love Love and Monsters.
Rat.
I think Tooth and Claw is really good, but I wouldn't pick it over even like School Reunion, which I think is so fun and an episode I loved as a kid. And there's stuff like Man the Pompadour and all that, and I don't know. I can't get rid of that shit. Girl in the Fireplace, you know.
Yeah, baby.
I would never have Man the Pompadour by Maureen Gold if there's no Girl in the Fireplace.
That's true. I'd never cry myself to sleep every night if it wasn't for that episode.
Pretty much.
Series 3, Darlings in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks. Both those episodes out the window, thrown in the trash. Get that shit out of here. Don't do anything for the story. Only thing it does is give us a really catchy song. Put the devil in me. And then I'd also get rid of 42 because everyone knows 42 is shit. Does have a few plot elements in it though that impact the larger series 3, but I think that stuff gets summed up enough in Lazarus Experiment that it doesn't really add that much. So you get away with just getting rid of it completely. What about your series 3 picks?
This is a bit of a hard one. I know you really like Shakespeare Code, but I don't really like it that much. So I would get rid of Shakespeare Code. I would get rid of 42. And I don't know, definitely the Dark 2-parter, because I was going to pick that or Lazarus Experiment, but I do also think what I really like about Lazarus Experiment, I think should do more, is that world so much and going to the past and all that, and then they just came back home and it really did a good job at incorporating Martha's family, and it had consequences for her leaving and traveling with the Doctor. So that's what I really like. The Dalek 2-part as well.
And I totally forgot until we rewatched this a year or so ago. In series 3, I forgot how much the Saxon stuff was planted throughout, and all Saxon's boys are there that whole episode talking to Martha's family and stuff. And I think that's a really cool element of the story.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, series 4. That's a fucking tough one, man.
Okay.
Getting rid of 3 stories in season 4 is going to be controversial for me here.
Okay.
All right. First one I get rid of, Unicorn and the Wasp, because fuck Gareth Roberts. No one needs that shit. This one's a bit of a cheat, but I think maybe making the Sontaran 2-parter a 1-parter, because it's not that exciting of a story. It's still kind of important enough because you see Wilf gets to know the Doctor a bit and stuff like that in it. But yeah, maybe that's a bit of a cheat, just combine one of them into one episode, because it probably wouldn't have been a good episode if it was just one. But here's where things get fucking crazy. Midnight.
Fuck off.
Gone. I love Midnight. I love Midnight as much as the next guy. But here's my pitch. Sorry, that was disgusting. Everyone heard that.
Yes, you are for getting rid of Midnight. Disgusting.
So here's my pitch. Shortly after series 4, we get the specials. Planet of the Dead and Midnight share a whole bunch of similarities, right? It's all a bunch of people basically stranded on a bus. Okay? My thing is combining, and it wouldn't be as good as Midnight, but look, I'm grasping on straws for ideas here. Basically making Midnight Planet of the Dead, right? And so it basically stays as Midnight, but maybe with a couple of other components. You know, we still, yeah, it's just going to be midnight on Planet of the Dead. Maybe it's less dark, which is unfortunate, but it's an Easter special, so they want it to be brighter. I don't know, man. Look, what else are you going to do? What are you going to get rid of?
Well, Planet of the Ood, definitely. That's a no-brainer.
But yeah, I see what you did there. No brainer, because big brain.
Yeah.
No, but that's such a big one for Donna, because I really thought about getting rid of it as well. But I was like, that's huge for Donna's arc, and it sets up End of Time.
I don't know, but it does, yeah. But I feel like Vice Pompeii definitely sets it up more. Or sets up the Doctor more, and just has those amazing moments. An episode which I really never liked much as a kid, but loved on the rewatch. I'd pick Planet of the Ood. I'd pick Unicorn the Wasp, and yeah, I definitely think I would pick this on Time 2-part, which again really shocked me when I rewatched it because I didn't like it pretty much at all. As much as I don't even love the Library 2-part, I think it is really an integral part of Doctor Who. Yeah. So I would never think of getting rid of that. Tricky and controversial from Aidan over there.
Very controversial. Wow. Series 5 is pretty easy for me. The weakest episodes being the Silurian 2-parter and the Lodger. Don't do anything. You'd have to kill Rory off in some other way, but maybe he gets killed off at the end of Amy's Choice or something like that. You know. Yeah. What about you?
One thing quickly, I didn't know we could pick the specials when we did season 4, so I would replace Next Doctor with Pound the Ood if I can do that, for the record. I didn't know we could pick from the specials.
Look, we're just fucking freeballing, Connor. There's no rules.
Yeah. So I'd pick Beast Below. Not really a fan of it.
But it's a big thing for Amy.
Is it?
Sorry, what was
That's
your second
what Moffat
one?
wants you to think. Second one would be Lodger.
Yep, fair.
Not really as fun as I remember it as a kid, and also Gareth Roberts. And then I would say the Silurian. Yeah, definitely probably Silurian 2-parter. Yeah.
Fair. On to series 6. Wow, there's so much to choose from.
Oh boy.
I would get rid of one episode of the Rebel Flesh because that really didn't justify being a 2-parter. I'd save it as one single episode.
Totally.
Just so it sets up the stuff for the crazy flesh shit in A Good Man Goes to War and stuff. The Amy Jizz stuff. Night Terrors doesn't do anything for the story, for the plot. That can go. Closing Time because of Gareth Roberts. And it's just a really bad episode. But also, as a bonus, budget cuts. The BBC has turned around and they've said, no, Aidan, you can only do 9 episodes. So you're going to have to get rid of one of these 10 that you already still have. And I go, don't worry, BBC, it's easy. The finale was going to be shit anyways. Let's get rid of The Wedding of River Song as well. Just because, I'd rather not know what happens at the end of series 6 than make that episode.
Fair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big on thought.
Yeah, I'd say Curse of the Black Spot. The Flesh 2-parter, which I think is such a low in Doctor Who, and I'd also pick Close in Time, because if I'm going to pick Lodge, I've got to pick Close in Time as well, because let's be real, like I just said, they're nowhere near as good as I remember them being as a kid.
Yeah. Did you like Craig's son in this episode?
What? Really? Is that meant to be him?
What, no, but everyone jokes about it all the time. Well,
really?
Not jokes. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, it's Craig's son! Oh my god, wow, it's all connected. It's Stormageddon. Oh my god."
The one who gets the gun and he says, "I'm the best at shooting the sharpshooter."
Yeah.
Right
the one that kind of looks like Craig Owens.
Oh my god.
They do share a lot of similarities, but no, that's not how it is. But it's a big rumor, yeah.
Who'd have thought Doctor Who fans would reach when there's literally nothing there? Unheard of. Classic.
Series 7, pretty easy. Hyde, Journey, and Nightmare in Silver. What about you?
Season 7, Season 7, fine. You know what? I really like Dinosaurs in the Spaceship, but I would pick that. I'd also pick Journey to the TARDIS and Christ, maybe, probably Hyde, I'd say.
Get that shit out of
Hyde. Don't like the snowman, but it does really help the plot, I feel like, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. From here on through, it's pretty easy for me. I'm just going to list off the last 3 seasons back to back because they're all pretty easy. Okay. Series A, I get rid of. You only have to get rid of 2 episodes from now on. because they got reduced to 12 episode
Okay.
series. Series 8 easily Robot of Sherwood and Into the Forest of the Night. They're just shit episodes. Series 9, Sleep No More, and okay, this one needs a bit of explanation. I did think of maybe getting rid of one of like the Maisie Williams, like the first part of the Maisie Williams one, because I don't like that. But then I was like, you know what? Let's get rid of Hellbent, make Heaven Sent the finale, and rework it slightly so that Heaven Sent is the Doctor coming to terms with Clara's death, which it kind of is, but I guess polishing it off a little bit more rather than carrying it over into Hellbent and just making it a brilliant, like a bit more artsy finale. I think that would be kind of cool. Series 10 is of Light. It's fucking boring as shit. Boring as batshit. It's the most boring episode of Doctor Who that's ever been made. And look, I hate to say it, but probably Thin Ice. Not that Thin Ice is a shit episode or anything like that, but there's some VFX work in there that I hate. And
fucking hell, you are being controversial today.
Why?
All right. Well, you'll see when I get to my episode I'm getting rid of. Okay, so I'm going from season 8. Yeah, season 8, I definitely say In the Forest of the Shite and Robots of Sherwood, same as you.
Yep.
Though they're just fun episodes, I don't hate them that much. Season 9, I would get rid of Sleep No More, and I'd also get rid of... This is the hard one, because you're right, I do like the Maisie Williams trilogy. So probably the same thing about you with Hellbent and rework it, because I actually do like the Maisie Williams trilogy. Duo trilogy, whatever the fuck you call it. Anyway, yeah, two-parter. Yeah, and then season 10, I would get rid of Empress of Mars, and I'd get rid of... Yeah, Ease of Light is pretty shit. Smile's not great, but it's just a good name. So yeah, I'd say Ease of the Light, and I'd also say Empress of Mars.
How dare you? Actually being able to see the Ice Warriors do their shit. And Victorian people... like Victorian army people on Mars. That's just crazy. I don't remember the episode at all, but I just remember that.
And it doesn't make any sense. How the fuck are they there? What the hell?
I need to stop wiggling sword scissors around.
It's a threat. It's a threat at me for saying I
why would you do this?
I'm sorry. Since the guy got rid of Midnight.
I tried to rework it though. Series 4 was fucking hard. All right.
It was.
Yeah, Thin Ice is tough. It was a tough one to decide to get rid of, because series 10 is all consistently from memory. It's like none of the stories until the finale are like that great, but they all like it flows really nice from memory, the whole series. So it's hard to figure out what to get rid of. I think I'm really going to enjoy series 10 on rewatch because I never liked it when it came out.
Me too. 9 and 10, I think I'm going to really enjoy.
Yeah, love it. And 8, I never really liked 8 that much, but I think I'm going to love it. Like, I think I'm really going to find
8 might be interesting for me. Yeah.
Oh, that didn't sound too good. All right. Starting to run out of time here, Connor. So shall we just quickly skim through the plot of Nightmare in Silver and just dish out any thoughts of any little plot things that we might need to discuss?
Well, I want to ask you, firstly, what do you think of the Cybermen?
The new design?
As in the plot, like, how do you think that?
I think it's cool to have the Mondasian Cybermen reintroduced. I think the new design is really good. I really like them. Like you, I just don't like the big blue light. I find that distracting. And it just feels like
the Iron Man. The Iron Man.
Yeah, but I like the sleekness. Their new things that they do are okay, except for the Speedy Boy.
Yeah, what the fuck is that about?
Cybermen don't need super speed. They don't need that shit.
No.
No. It never gets used again. So, but like in the plot, I think it was kind of cool. I think it worked. I didn't hate how they were used in the plot. It would maybe have been nice to see a little bit more of them.
Yeah, I agree. It pretty much everything you just said. Yeah, I think the design is cool. It was also cool to see we got to see the Lumix Cybermen just briefly. There are a few Easter eggs in that room. We got one of the dolls from the Gold Complex.
Yeah.
There was also a villain from Torchwood, I believe, was in there.
Really?
One of the blowfish from Torchwood. Yeah. Spare Parts got mentioned. Wasn't mentioned in the spare parts. They said
the words spare parts were said in the episode.
Yeah, was said. Yeah, that was said. It was said. Yeah.
In that room, middle of the day. Well, it was morning, right? 2 bits fucking jump scared me. Like literally, like I was having my morning coffee and twice I was like, they actually got me. The The first, I don't know why this shit got me. Like both of them are the most bullshit things. But the first one is when they're looking at the Cyberman that's doing chess, and then it looks up.
Cyberman.
That shit made me jump.
Get down.
I don't know why it made me jump. And the other one was, I think Artie is looking around the room after his sister's gone.
Right.
And they like do a bit of a bluff where they kind of do like a jump scare that's kind of shit, and he looks around and it's gone. And then you finally take a breath. And sort of as soon as you take that breath, it like grabs him from behind and pulls him in. That shit made me jump as well. It was another like kind of moment.
Yeah. I think we had Warwick Davis in the episode, which was really fun to see. It also had Jason Watkins in it, who is this big. He was in Des recently. He's also in a Christmas movie called Nativity, which I really love. And he was. I thought he was cool in it. He didn't have really much to do. The whole Warwick Davis thing. I think apart from the fact that he wasn't this fucking emperor, I don't think he really was given much to do either. He had like two really cool, like classy British actors in the episode, and I feel like they weren't really used at all, which really upset me because I'm big fans of both of those actors, and I felt like they were not utilized at all. I feel like, why do we have Angie and Arnie here? We could have like utilized those characters so much more, but it was kind of just like they're here and they just don't really do anything and it's over, and that upset me. Though I thought the best part of the episode for me was Matt getting taken over by the Cyberman and him switching between the Mr. I hate the name Mr. Clever. That pissed me off so much. Mr. Clever and the Doctor. Even the way it's like used to like manipulate Clara into thinking it's him and it's actually not him. I thought that was really well done. And that was the time where I feel like Gaiman really got to write really well. He seemed to write those scenes really well.
And I think Matt like nailed it. He had so much fun with it, I think. And it was so good. He went all out. I guess this was one of his last times where he'd get to have a lot of fun in the show.
Totally.
Because from here, it's going to be big emotional beats for his character. This is the last time where he kind of experiment and do like silly shit. And like scream at himself. They're here. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was a shame that a big bunch of that and the first half was against a green screen that didn't look good. And they kept doing this like fake Dutch tilt where they Dutch tilted on the green screen. It just didn't look good. But yeah, his performance, that was great. And I think it was really well written there. And it was a good like plot thing. I thought it was really, I laughed. Like, I thought this was really funny. Maybe this is cringe, but I thought it was funny when Clara's like, tell me something that no one else will know. And then Matt's like, I think you're the most beautiful girl that has ever lived or something. And it's so obvious. Like when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, he does love Clara. But like watching it as an adult, you can so tell they're like taking the piss when he does it. Like it's so funny.
I didn't like the whole plot where it's just like the only way we can tell the rest of the army that there's Cybermen here is if we blow up the planet, and that's how we show that they were here. Apparently, it's like, what the fuck? That's stupid. They give them no like walkie-talkies or anything to even contact them, which was just so dumb.
It feels extremely redundant to be like, oh, don't worry, they've told us that there's Cybermen here, but don't worry, they've blown them up. Like
literally,
there's no point to
Since when were the Cybermen extinct, by the way? And that's just never really been established in this episode. And we're meant to, they do it with the Daleks all the time. They do it in like Marvel movies and stuff where they have like 3 million Cybermen, and it doesn't feel at all like you're being attacked by 3 million Cybermen. It doesn't feel scary at all. You don't feel the pressure. Though I love the new design, I think the fact that they can just upgrade themselves instantly makes them feel like they're just so overpowered that it's like, it's just kind of boring in a sense.
Totally, I agree. One thing that I always, one of my plots when Aidan inevitably one day becomes showrunner, guys. One of my big plots is diving deep into the cyber war, right?
Yes.
And I wanted a big finale where the Doctor was basically going to have to push the be the one to push the button that blows up the spiral galaxy thing, right? But then like his companion sacrificed himself and does it. And it's a big character arc, full circle thing for his companion. Yeah, fucking you on Connor. That's how I feel.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
And then I watched this episode, and then Warwick Davis is like, I just feel sorry for the poor bugger that had to pull the lever or press the switch or something. And I was like, fuck no. I feel like that one line for some people, they'd be like, oh, it's so cool that the doctor was the one that did it. That's crazy. He was the poor bugger. They set it up all along. But then like me, and I think most intellectuals would kind of be like, why does the doctor have to be at the center of fucking everything that happens in the universe? Like, I feel like it kind of, just because of that one line has now made that plot line be a little bit like fan wanky,
Yeah.
you know?
They seem to throw a lot of Cyberman lore in this episode, which I don't really feel like goes anywhere. And
yeah, but
they sort of just like abandon this design as well.
Because I feel like the Cybermen lack lore in New Who. They're just like a robot army for fucking Missy to have half the time.
Oh god, that's what I mean. That sucks. And no, I agree. It's really cool for them to have lore. I think the season 10 final is so awesome. It used the Cybermen really well. They're meant to be this really creepy, disturbing fucking race, and that's what this episode didn't do. I didn't feel scared of the Cybermen at all. I don't see kids being scared of this episode. And that's what upsets me. You're right, though. The Cyber will be a really cool thing to maybe Russell to explore. I don't know. Like, but,
yeah. I feel like this episode, what fails with the Cybermen in this episode is that they feel too robotic. Like, I know like the voices that always like upgrade in progress or whatever, but these ones are really deep robotic voices for one. Whereas like, you know, in Classic Who, they're robotic, but there's still like a string of emotion in there. Whereas this is like, hey Siri, you know,
pretty much. Yeah.
But also like just the idea of being able to upgrade things. It feels very technologically based. Whereas what is scary about the Cybermen is the body horror and the fact that they used to be people and things like that. That's a fundamental thing for the Cybermen, and we do kind of miss that in this episode, I think.
You do. Also, like I remember when like it was being announced these were like the new Cybermen. I remember Moffat was distinctly saying they talk a lot less, which I think doesn't help at all either. Like the Cybermen, what scared me so much is like the way they spoke. And another thing that really scared me, like to see the Cybermen running like fucking Flash Gordon in this episode, that upset me so much because I used to have dreams where I'd be like running away from a Cyberman, but it would be slowly like walking towards me. That stomp terrifies me. Like
literally.
That's scary. That's creepy as fuck, and they just get rid of it.
Most recurring Doctor Who monsters don't scare me because you do just see them a lot. Like as a kid, I was never really afraid of the Daleks or anything like that. It was usually the one-off monsters that would scare me, like the Clockwork Robots and stuff like that. And at the time, the Weeping Angels. But then there was like one time, so weird. I was like, I want to say like 12, 13 or something. And I was having like a shit on the toilet or something. And then all of a sudden in my head, I was just thinking like, did I just hear a Cyberman stomp? And then I like went into like a daydream of like me just hearing Cybermen stomping coming closer and closer. And I'm like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm on the toilet.
Yeah.
What would I do if I opened the door and there was a Cyberman just like in the door? I'd be fucked. And I had like this midlife, like 12-year-old life crisis freak out. What would I do if a Cyberman stomped over me right now? And yeah, you do miss that. One thing with the stomping though is I think it's Angie and Artie when they have the cyber chips in their head or whatever. They walk. No, it's when two of the army people get like chips in the head, and they start to walk, and they add a slight sound of like the as they walk, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. They're still flesh and bones.
No. Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, the stomp will be missed for a while. Does it come back? Maybe it comes back. But yeah, literally one of the first shots they show in fucking Age of Steel or Rise of Cybermen, it's just a feet marching off the truck, and it's scary as fuck. flashbacks. Just like I used to have similar dreams where I was being chased by a Cyberman. They ran in my house. I ran under my bed, and I could just see its feet, and then it stopped, and then suddenly it just put its head down, and I was like, it's scary. Like
and that was never a thing in Classic Who as well. So that was like a cool thing. Even though I don't really like the bulkiness of the design of the RTD era Cybermen, you can't deny that they do feel kind of unstoppable because they're so like bulky. And if you opened a door and there was one at the door, you like, oh, I'm fucked. You know, like.
They're all very soulless as well. You can see like the soulless in their face. Yeah. But it kind of just like, apart from all the chess stuff, which I thought was pretty fun, the episode sort of just gets wrapped up. They suddenly go, oh, I can now activate the bomb and I'll just get you transported back into my ship because I am the fucking, what's he called? Like what's he called? I keep forgetting what it is, but the Emperor. I'm like, wow, you really did pull this out your ass. And it's like, okay, in 90 seconds, it's going to blow up. And then they go on the ship. It blows up. The doctor's like, oh, fuck. Clara's been flirted on by Warwick Davis. I feel a bit jealous now. And he's like, shit, or I'll kill you. And then they just drop the kids off at home. Clara runs off and says, I'll see you next Wednesday. And then the episode ends like it fucking has 1,000 times with him going, the impossible girl, we'll find out.
But this one's like weirdly horny. Is like, in a skirt that's a little bit too tight.
A little bit too tight.
Like, oh my God. Settle down, my friend,
I'm
you horny bastard.
So glad that storyline's ended. I'm sick of hearing about the impossible girl. Who are you? What are you? Oh God, end it now.
Why is your skirt so tight?
Why is it so tight? My God, this was a Neil Gaiman episode. Sad.
A couple of things that I think got kind of missed were we never got a scene where the doctor and where Clara like went up to the doctor and was like, "Doctor, my fucking the kids I'm looking after know," and the doctor being like, "They can't fucking know," and like it could have been like a fun comedic thing that plays throughout the episode, like him being like, "They shouldn't be here." But then
it just starts with them there,
embracing the fun of it. I don't know. Yeah, that was all a bit bizarre for me. I thought Warwick Davis' character, I love that man. Thank you, Yubnub. Well, what's the Ewok called that he plays?
He's an Ewok, yeah.
Yeah, who does he play again? He plays does it begin with a W? What is it?
He plays a different character in every movie.
Yeah, but he plays the main one.
I think he's in all.
Doesn't he play the main one half the time?
I think he played. So yeah, he played an evil. I don't know what else
he plays. Wicket. Yeah, that's it. That's the main one. Right. Wicket. The Ewok. His character was like all over the plot. Like throughout most of the story, it was like fine. He was kind of in the background, but it was fine. I liked that there was a few hints that maybe he could be that, and I thought it was a good twist that he was the taller one and stuff.
It was a cool twist, yeah.
But then the last scene, I was like, out of nowhere, he's proposing to Clara. Like you said, a little jealous. Settle down, Warwick.
Really weird stuff.
Yeah, but then also he then is like, now get off before I kill you. And I'm like,
no, I'm gonna kill you. Like, get out of here.
What the fuck crack are you on? Like, why are you changing all over the joint?
Get out of here.
Get out of here, you
odd stuff. Yeah, and it just sort of ends so quickly. It's such a shame, but and he never came back. And can you blame the guy? Because I think he's got PTSD from this story. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, it is silly. Connor, do you have any goose from this week or not?
No.
No, neither do I. We're going to jump into just Twitter things first, and then we're going to do behind the scenes because I need to do a little bit of work whilst Connor does his part of just Twitter things.
I'm going on Instagram now.
Yeah, baby. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to move on to Australia's second favorite. No, this is the third favorite segment. It's just Twitter things. Oh shit! There we go. Twitter things, the segment where we like to hear what you guys think of the episode over on the online, on the socials. That's at 50 Doctor. If you didn't know, even though I've said it like 80 times in this episode. Yeehaw, partner. So let's see. I've got one review over on the Twitter, and that is by our good friend who asked that question earlier, Mike Honor. He says, okay, so I love the Cybermen and a Cyberman story. I really like the redesign of them for this ep, but the ep itself, I do not rate highly. I'd skip it. So not a huge
Fair enough.
fan over there. That's fine. That's fine.
Fair enough.
What about you over on Instagram, Connor? What you got to say?
So I put up what I do every week. I say, do you like Nightmare in Silver? Whatever episode we're watching. Yes, got 89%. No, got 11. I always like doing these polls because people
Very
who don't want to
interesting.
send in reviews is very quickly just for them to click a button. So it was more well received than I thought, actually, which is the only person who voted no was friend of the show, Connor. So that's interesting.
Interesting.
But I've got this down here. Force Nightmare in Silver. I have should have been Nightmare in Gold. Thank you. Got one from Shane saying one of the best from this series for sure. So there you go. It's not all hate.
Big positive.
And Aidan said, Craig's son. I now know what you mean by that. I don't think Jacob got a review in time, which I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, he didn't get one in time. But if he sends one, I'll just quickly read it next week when we do name of the Doctor. But that is all that I got.
Banging.
That's all I got.
All right, let's move on to a bit of a rough.
Enough time for you, Aidan.
No, not really, but we'll move on to a bit of a rough behind the scenes segment.
Sorry.
Let's do Australia's second favorite segment. It's time for behind the scenes. So behind the scenes is where we talk about, you guessed it, behind the scenes. So usually I do a bit of prep work and read ahead and grab some notes from various sources. Didn't have time to do that this week, so I'm just going to read a couple of things. I tried to have a bit of a look then. That's why we did just Twitter things first. But I didn't really get that far. But hey, look, little things that are interesting about Nightmare in Silver is that it was the working title for the episode was The Last Cybermen. During filming at the castle, a read-through script was left in a taxi in Cardiff. Again in this series.
Again.
Wow. It was marked as being Eve de Leon Alley. I don't know who that is. Is that, can I find that title? Lee de Leon? No, I have no idea who that person is. Anyways, yeah, it had the working title The Last Cybermen on it. The script was found by Hannah Durham, who posted a picture of the script on Facebook with the caption, "Found Doctor Who script in the back of a taxi. Cheeky spoilers, anyone?" It was then posted to Reddit, saying, "Look what a Facebook fan found in a taxi in Cardiff on Monday." Arrangements were made then to have the script returned to the BBC. Moffat wanted the Cybermen to be redesigned because he felt like they kept being redesigned all the time in Classic Who, and they've been really consistent in New Who, so he thought it was about time to get a new look at them. Neil Gaiman said, only a mod, what did he say? So he wanted to make the Cybermen scary again. He announced his return to Doctor Who during his Hugo Award acceptance speech for the Doctor's wife, commenting that only a fool or a madman would try again. So he was on his third draft now. Gaiman stated that the episode was planned for the second half of Series 7, but could be delayed, as happened with the Doctor's wife. Cool. Let's jump over onto TARDIS Wiki, see if we got any other juicy facts on there. Clara asks, can Cybermen fly? With the answer being no. However, they eventually do fly.
Of course they do, yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. So the episode takes place 250,000 years into the future, which never gets said, but that's what Neil Gaiman says. So that's funny. Oh, yeah. Did you like the Cybermites, by the way? The little Cybermites? They were fun. The CGI looks good.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but in the last frame of the episode, I only noticed this time, but you get to see a Cybermite, one that was used in Closing Time, the big ones without shell, and it's flying in space, which apparently is how one of the classic episodes ended. I think you can read about it. I don't know, but
here we go.
I looked up. Yeah.
The ending of the story, in which a lone Cybermite is seen drifting into space, having escaped the destruction of the planet, is reminiscent of the end of the Tomb of the Cybermen, in which a single Cybermat escaped from the tombs just before they were sealed.
Yeah, I looked up, so I was like, what the fuck is that?
Subsequently, the Cybermen exiting their tombs mirrors the cliffhanger of Earthshock Part 3, when 3 rows of Cybermen march towards the camera. It's also very similar to the scene where the Cybermen come out of their tombs in the Tomb of the Cybermen. So that's interesting. A fun fact is that when the Doctor was saying that he'll regenerate to get rid of Mr. Clever, fun fact
Yep.
is that was clearly a bluff because we know that the Doctor knows that he can't regenerate. But then surely they would have seen that in his head. Surely Mr. Clever might have found that in his head.
Yeah, because he can't. Yeah. Wow. Is there anything there about the behind the scenes drama or anything? Or
there's not much that I can find here. It's just more facts and stuff about the episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I have heard similar things of just it being a bit rushed. Yeah, but I can't find an awful lot on it.
Yeah, I think it was on this. Yeah, I don't know. I always heard that there was a bit of a problem, and I think he came out and said something about someone, but I don't know if it. I think he said it wasn't Moffat. I think it might have been a producer that he had a little bit of a problem with.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'll have a Google in a second.
I read about it a while ago. Yeah.
One thing I do want to say is that the character Ha. This is the myth. This is the myth. Okay, the character Ha is Alfie Owens grown up. The theory circulated on Tumblr, saying that as a result of Ha-Ha's claim that he has heard of the Cybermen since he was in his cradle, which was taken to be a direct reference to the events of Closing Time, as well as actor Calvin Dean's physical similarity to the build of James Corden, who played Alfie's father, Craig. As the story is set some 1,000 years after the supposed final destruction of the Cybermen and the end of the Cyber Wars, this is unlikely. It is also not born out of any dialogue in the episode itself. You know what? I think it's got some merit, but it's not. Like, I see where they're coming from. You can have a bit of fun with that, Big Finish, if you like.
I had no idea that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I never really picked up on that. I thought that. I think I have heard that before, but that's certainly interesting, isn't it?
Did you notice? Scott has a production error here, and it does look very silly. Did you notice that how he's got 3 Cybermen in his collection? That bloke. Did you notice that one of them, its chest plate is like lifted like all the way up? Like, it looks so weird.
No, I didn't actually.
One of them like is normal, and the other one has like the metal up like really high, and then it's just like black, like down there. Like, it's so weird. I don't know why that looks like that and why. They must have been trying to cover something up. Like, maybe it was broken or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think probably something like that. It was cool. It was cool to see the original Cybermen. Just briefly before. Yeah. Well, they do come back. I think at the time we didn't know that they were going to come back. That was really cool to say.
But, totally. Yeah. They come back a couple of times.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Oh, here we go. This is the article I was trying to find. So when I was doing some research for all the Gareth Roberts drama, I found a post about Neil Gaiman. So I'll read off there what I read. Here you go. Neil Gaiman versus Stephen Moffat. Okay. Another script-related clash between creators. This one is different from in the previous example. Is that we don't really know which people are involved, but based on context and situations possible, we can take an educated guess. The one name we know for certain, Neil Gaiman, the acclaimed author who wrote 2 episodes of Matt Smith, blah, blah. Gaiman wasn't best pleased with the way the later episode turned out, and with a chat with Telegraph, he explained that Nightmare and Silver left him with a bad taste in his mouth, taking shots at an unnamed somebody who took his great script and turned it into a poor episode. On a separate occasion, Gaiman once again had a dig at an unnamed person, claiming that the fellow Doctor Who writer Toby Whitehouse's script, possibly a town called Mercy, had been messed with as well, just like Nightmare and Silver, and it had turned into a less impressive episode. As you mentioned, we don't know who Gaiman is talking about. It's highlighted that Stephen Moffat, the showrunner at the time, was involved as he took a lot of influence over the writer's scripts. So yeah, he said a couple of times that someone got involved, but he never said. I don't think it was Stephen. I reckon it must have been like a producer or something. But
interesting.
Who knows? It might have been. It might have been.
Yeah.
Either way, I found that article after like 5 minutes researching, so that's good.
It's I don't know. It's interesting. I'm reading a thing here where some bloke spoke to Neil Gaiman. So some guy wrote into Neil Gaiman on Tumblr, and he said, "Hey Neil, I've read the older versions of the episode scripts were much longer. Would it be possible for anyone to see those, or are there legal issues keeping it from being released?" Neil Gaiman replies saying, "I don't know if there are legal issues. I gave the original opening scenes to whatever the next version of the brilliant book is going to be, in which you find out about the no kids on the TARDIS rule, how Clara talks the Doctor into it, and what Artie and Angie's reaction to being inside the TARDIS is." This is all the shit that we were just talking about.
You said,
To see.
yeah.
And there were lots of scenes that weren't shot, so were cut or changed. As I say, I don't know. I'll ask the BBC. Yeah. So that
sounds like that. Yeah, like he said, a bit of a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it?
It's crazy that a huge writer like him even has his fucking scripts messed with. Like, it just shows you that, like, doesn't matter how big of a fucking writer you are, they can still, like, take your scripts and go, no, I don't know about this. Crazy. Wow.
Crazy,
that
man.
is nuts.
What would you rate fan favorite Cyberman episode, Nightmare in Silver?
I'm gonna give it a 6 because I feel like that's fair. I do like the Cyberman design. 2 British actors in it I really like. The stuff between the Doctor and Mr. Clever I thought was really cool. Also, I feel sorry for Neil, and I feel like it's not his fault, a lot of it. And I think there was it looked kind of nice in some shots. Like, there's some nice purpley stuff, and I kind of like a few scenes.
Here's one thing that
that's kind of where I
a lot of credit for. I don't think the actual cinematography in terms of the shot choices and stuff was that creative or that great, but I actually think the lighting work was really colorful and really nice.
Lighting was cool. Yeah,
it was very bright, vibrant. There was lots of blues, lots of red, lots of different colors that were just standing out. Sometimes some of the tombstones got a little bit too blue, but overall it was, I think, really good. I'm going to give Nightmare in Silver a 6 as well. Yeah, I just think it's good enough. It's a bit of fun, but yeah, it's no Crimson Horror or Cold War or Bells of St. John. I also want to say that the other day I lowered my Cold War score on here, even though I say we're not allowed to do that. But I just like...
What'd you give it now?
Well, I saw my Cold War score was 8, and I was like, that's so high. Like, it's not an 8. I put it down to a 7.5. Just because, like, 8 is what you give the fucking Stone Cold classics, you know? And Cold War
it's hard.
It's cold, but it's not an 8. I don't know. I'm trying to, like, balance it out a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it was a hard episode to rate, this one, I think. I really hope I enjoy next week's episode a lot.
Yeah, same.
Because I feel like we haven't really had a banger in a while. I've always liked it, so you know, I don't see why I wouldn't. But I guess we'll see in next week's episode of the 50% Doctor Who podcast.
And what episode are we reviewing next week, Connor?
It's the name of the Doctor.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
What's his name? Tune in and find out.
We'll find out. Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Next week will be our final New Who episode for 5 weeks. We're going to, after that, do a 5-week stint of Classic Who, which is going to challenge Connor mentally and physically. It's going to take him to places he's never been before. I'm really interested,
I'm going to struggle to
excited,
talk about that stuff,
and scared to know how you're going to deal with these episodes. I feel like each week you're going to come in and you're just going to be like, fucking hell. Like, I don't want to do this.
Well, I'm sure you pick some good ones. I'm not against trying to get into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Give the listeners a bit of a heads up. So the first 2 stories we're going to do. We're going to do we're going to do Name of the Doctor, and then after that we're going to do the 3 Doctors. So kind of can get a bit of an idea of just a great celebratory episode. It's also quite fast paced and quite a good one, I think. Then after that, we're going to do City of Death, which I just watched for the first time a few days ago, and I really loved it. I think it was a really good episode, really fast paced, feels very much like Stephen Moffat Doctor Who. So I think you'll like that one, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely going in open-minded, which I think I have to. So
yeah,
but yeah,
cool, man. All right, let's end episode 92 of our podcast right here. Coming up to 100, baby. Let's do it.
Oh. baby.
Let's sing
go.
our song. Follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at 50 Doctor. YouTube, it's the 50% Doctor Who podcast. Find Connor on Twitter at Hannum Connor and me on Twitter at Greeny_pro. Take it away, Connor.
All right. Aidan
and Connor's
podcast.
It's the podcast.
Doing Doctor Who reviews.
Doctor Who reviews.
Doctor Who reviews.
Doing Doctor Who reviews. I feel like I kind of dressed up for the show today. Look kind of fancy. Got a nice shirt.
You do actually, yeah.
Well, it's because I
my
bought a few nice
that
shirts.
says "Healing Good."
I like that. That's a good pun. I bought a few nice shirts at the shop today, and then I was going out to the pub for a couple of drinks afterwards. And then whilst I was at the shops, I spilled a coffee on the shirt that I was currently wearing, and I was like, I can't wear this to the fucking pub.
Let's rip that bad boy off and put this one on.
Yeah, I'll just cut off the tag, put it straight on.
I love
That's
it.
great. All right, see you next week, everyone.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself, everybody. Goodbye.